We have on live Zoom VOA correspondent Celia Mendoza to give us update about the situation after the deadly blast killing hundreds at the hospital in Gaza. Celia, can you hear us from Indonesia?
I can hear you here in Tel Aviv.
All right, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. We would like to ask you about the latest situation in Gaza after the horrifying blast of the hospital.
The situation is dire, according to the authorities, and the Ministry of Health of Palestine has said that is over 500 people were killed during this attack, mostly children, women, and patients. This is one of 20 hospitals, according to the World Health Organization, that operates in northern Gaza, a place that also is being serving as shelter. Al-Ali is a hospital known as the People's Hospital. And in the past few hours, authorities locally are trying to pretty much try to make sense of what happened. Victims that were struck in the middle of the night. They're trying to identify those as they're trying to also figure out who is responsible. Something important about this is the fact that over the past few days, it's been strikes over that area by the military of Israel, part of the operation against Hamas. So the claim made by Hamas is this was a responsibility. It was done by the government of Israel. However, the government of Israel right now is not accepting that. They are claiming, as you just mentioned, that it will be another group inside, but the humanitarian crisis keeps growing. We cannot forget that as this happened, it's been almost a week where the people in Gaza don't have access to electricity, water, gasoline, as well as humanitarian aid. And most of the people have moved from the north to the south after an ultimatum was issued by the military of Israel. So we have at least 500,000 people that are in the south of Gaza and the border with Egypt, where strikes were done yesterday, according to the United Nations. UNRWA, which is the United Nations group that is present in Gaza, have habilitated some locations for people that have been displaced, but even then have been hit during this crisis in which civilians have been affected, according to not only the local authorities, but the United Nations and their agencies.
All right, we're aware that you are in Tel Aviv at the moment. Can you describe the situation, especially after the IDF denied the blast to be its responsibility?
It's definitely a very polarized situation that we can sense, not only here in Tel Aviv, but closer to the border during the past few hours, and the West Bank Palestinians there in Ramallah protested and had clashes against the police. They're outraged at what happened. And here in Tel Aviv, it is a sense of understanding of what happened in Gaza. The Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu here is meeting with the President of the United States. The Prime Minister is meeting with him at this hotel in which we are. And the questions are, of course, is what happened, who did what, and how can be demonstrated to the international community. At the border, where people at the occupied territories are blaming Israel, but it also are questioning what is next. Is it going to be a ceasefire? So we know that the president of the Palestinian Authority, Mahmoud Abbas, gave a speech, and he was forceful, asking for the world to see this, for the fire to stop, and defending his land, and also accusing Israel of this attack. So it's something that now is being discussed by world leaders as the world sees what is happening inside Gaza. And of course, we also have to understand that it was a window of opportunity before this attack for a possible mediation through the United States. The meeting between Mahmoud Abbas and President Biden was canceled, but also the summit in which Egypt, Jordan, as well as Mahmoud Abbas and the representation of the Palestinian Authority, and the U.S. We're going to meet today in Amman, the capital of Jordan. That now is being scrapped out, is canceled of the schedule, and that it brings other challenges in the middle of this really tense situation.
All right, U.S. President Biden is said to be coming to Israel. What are the purpose and the agenda of this visit?
He's meeting right now at this hotel in Tel Aviv with the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. His agenda has several points. Some of them are difficult to accomplish after the attack to the hospital. But the first one, and he says it, is to support Israel and give them all the things that they need to defend themselves after the attack by militants of Hamas, in which over 1,300 people were killed by militants of Hamas. He makes a distinction into Hamas and the civilian people of Palestine. And that is something that he says Hamas does not represent all the Palestinian people, brought them only suffering. That is a direct quote of President Biden and his remarks to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. He also says that he's deeply saddened and outraged by the explosion in the hospital in Hamas. And based on what we have seen, it seems that it was done by the other team and not you, meaning that is believed, according to what he has seen, that will be the case. But he also emphasized, but there is a lot of other people out there and they're not sure. So we got to overcome a lot of things. He also says that he's encouraging life-saving capacity to help the Palestinians who are innocent, caught in the middle of this. So the president of the United States has a challenge right now in supporting Israel at the same time of looking for opportunities in which the tensions can be lower, ceasefire could be achieved, and especially the people, the civilians in Palestine could be saved of what the Secretary General of the United Nations are saying. It is a catastrophe, a humanitarian catastrophe, and horrible thing that just happened. He said that he was horrified for what happened at the hospital, but over the past few days, he's been calling for a humanitarian corridor. The United States has been working on that with different countries in the Arab world. But the bombing of the hospital just made the visit of Biden way more complicated. And he knows that. That's why his message today was one of support to Israel, but another one of support to the Palestinian people, and making a difference between what the Palestinian people want and what the Palestinian people need to be protected. And of course, against of what he has condemned strongly, which is a terrorist attack, according to the White House, against the Israelis. And that, of course, has to do with the attack of the 7th of October in Israeli territory that ended up with thousands dead and also with 199 people kidnapped, held hostage in Gaza right now. 31 Americans die, and the president is here. And he also will meet with survivors, families of those who lost their life and others who are held hostage, as well as first responders. So it is a very delicate time. And the United States, according to the White House, understands what is at play right now here in a very, very tense moment, especially hours after the terrible attack to the hospital.
All right, for the last question, what was exactly said during the meeting between Biden and Prime Minister Netanyahu today in Tel Aviv? And what can we expect after this meeting?
We can expect now to keep seeing the United States supporting militarily, give military support. We understand that the second ship from the United States, one of the carriers is coming to the Mediterranean, and additional personnel will be coming as well. Today, Biden says that he wants personally come and make clear that he stands with Israel. At the same time, that he denounced and condemns the atrocities of ISIS. What is expected right now in this historic trip by President Biden, which is the first president of the United States to stand in Israeli territory at the time that we have an active conflict where missiles are coming towards Tel Aviv in the past few days, and the Iron Dome has been activated, as he can serve as a mediator. That was the objective. That was the plan. That today, something, a humanitarian corridor, a possibility of talks was going to be in their way. However, the attack to the hospital has made anything that the president had in his plans completely challenging, if not impossible, due to the high tensions and the feeling in the Arab world that they are being attacked and that their people are being killed in this operation that is being carried out by the Israeli government. And the Israeli government has said that they are going against Hamas and they will destroy Hamas. And they stated today, and Benjamin Netanyahu said that they don't attack civilian population. But of course, as this President Biden stated, overcome those statements or overcome the feeling of the people. It is the challenge that they have. And now they will have to show evidence to unequivocally show there was an Israel who bombed the hospital.
All right. Thank you very much, Celia Mendoza, for reporting from Tel Aviv.
Thank you.